Congratulations, you've been promoted, you're now leading a team, and the pressure just got real. Suddenly, your job now is to guide others and make tough calls, but no one handed you a playbook, and you can't afford to mess this up. If you're feeling a mix of excitement and quiet panic, trust me, you're not alone. I've seen many new managers walk in with good intentions, but still make avoidable mistakes that can hurt their credibility. So today, I'm going to give you 15 quick practical tips that'll set you apart from the start and lead you into your new role with confidence. Tip 1, draw the line. You're their boss first. So let's start with one of the most common problems. One of the hardest parts of stepping into management is realizing that your role has changed. It's especially difficult when you've been promoted from within. You're no longer just one of the team. Now, you're leading it, and that means setting clear boundaries. Respect must come before rapport, so being friendly is of course very good, but being one of the gang can blur lines that will bite you later. Lead first, connect second. You don't need to be another buddy for your team because now your job is to lead them with clarity, fairness, and direction. Tip number 2, consistency is your armor. So once you've drawn the line, the next step is protecting it with consistency. If your team doesn't know what to expect from you, they'll fill in the gaps with doubt. Consistency is how you build trust. So whether it's praise, whether it's correction, or however you enforce the rules, what you do for one, you must do for all. The moment you bend the rule for someone, others will notice. And once your team starts wondering if you're playing favorites, trust begins to erode. You need to be the leader who shows up the same way every single time. Tip number 3, the buck stops with you. So now that you've built trust, it's time to take full ownership. And this is not easy. As a manager, there's no one else to pass the blame to. If something slips through, it's on you. That may sound harsh, but accept that you're in control now. Own the outcome, not just the effort. If your team succeeds, they get the spotlight. If things go wrong, you take responsibility, and that's leadership. And when your team sees you take the hits with grace, they'll work for you harder, and that's how managers win. Tip 4, delegate like a pro. Tip number 4 says you can't do it all, and you shouldn't. You don't get paid to do it all. You are graded. Your role now is to make sure everything gets done, not necessarily that you're doing everything. So learn to ask, is this something only I can do? If the answer is no, you can delegate it. Micromanaging will drain your time and your team's motivation. Note that delegation isn't about dumping work, right? You need to trust. You need to show your team that you believe in their abilities, and they'll start believing in themselves too. Tip number 5, focus on outcomes, not optics. The next tip is that good managers care less about how work gets done and more about whether it gets done well. Of course, process matters, but don't get caught up policing how someone organizes their day or runs their task list. Focus on results, that's where real impact lives. When you measure by outcome, you give your team the space to succeed their own way. And that is the best way to bring the best out of your team. Tip 6, say I don't know with confidence. Tip number 6 says you don't need to have all the answers. If you're honest, that is enough. Remember, saying I don't know doesn't make you weak. It makes you human, and you can't know it all, right? So when you follow up with, but I'll find out, that's when people can start trusting you a bit more. Leaders who pretend to know everything usually fool no one. Vulnerability often builds credibility. It shows your team that curiosity is valued more than ego. Tip 7, say no to protect your focus. Every time you say yes, it costs you something. It can be your time, it can be your energy, it can be attention. And as a new manager, it's tempting to be the hero who says yes to everything, but without focus, your priorities will slip through the cracks. Saying no isn't selfish. Make it part of your strategy. At the end of the day, your job is to protect your team's time and energy too. The better you are at saying no to the wrong things, the more room you make for what really matters. Tip number 8, theory is not equal to reality. Real leadership isn't found in a textbook. They don't prepare you for a messy team conflict or a surprise deadline that blows up your week. Don't get stuck trying to manage from a playbook. Stay present, listen deeply, and adjust as you go. Because the best leaders are ones who can adapt. What works in a classroom often needs rewriting on the job, and when you realize this, things often get a lot easier. Tip 9, over-communicate vision. Now, people don't just want tasks. Tip number 9 says it's better to explain to them the purpose behind the task. If your team doesn't know why they're doing something, they'll often lose motivation very quickly. So don't just assume your team sees the big picture. Share it and share it again. Actual leadership is repetition because it brings clarity, and clarity breeds confidence. When people understand the goal and how they fit into it, they care more and they perform better, and that's something you need to give to your team. Tip number 10, lead with transparency, not perfection. Your team doesn't need a flawless leader. They're looking for a real one. Trying to appear perfect all the time just builds distance. But when you're open about your thought process, your challenges, and even your mistakes, you build trust. Transparency makes you relatable. It invites others to speak up, ask questions, and bring their full selves to work. People usually don't connect with perfection, so lead with openness, not with a mask. Tip 11, get it in writing always. And this is important. Talking about something often fades, but documentation brings clarity. Whether it's a project deadline, a team commitment, or a bonus promise, put it in writing. It doesn't necessarily have to be formal. A quick follow-up email or message is enough. People forget, and miscommunication creates tension. Protect yourself and your team by making sure expectations are always clear and documented. Tip 12, don't pretend you know more than you do. Now, as a new manager, you might feel pressure to have all the answers, but pretending will backfire fast. Your team can tell when you're pretending, and it chips away at your credibility. So instead, ask questions, admit when you're unsure. People respect leaders who are very willing to learn, not necessarily those who just fake it. Asking questions isn't a weakness, it's how strong managers make smarter decisions. You don't need to be the smartest person in the room to lead. Build a culture where curiosity beats performance theatre. Tip 13, over-deliver, but quietly. So don't oversell just to impress your boss or your team. That only sets you up for stress or disappointment. Instead, under-promise just a tiny bit and build in space for problems. Then, when you deliver early or above expectations, it feels more of a win. Over time, this habit builds your reputation as someone who follows through and doesn't miss. Tip number 14, model the work ethic you expect. Your team watches what you do more than you say. If you expect your team to care, show them what that looks like. You don't need to be the first in and last out, but your actions should match your words. When your team sees you leading from the front, they're far more likely to follow, because people respect leaders who lead by example. Tip number 15 is better to act and fail than freeze. So indecision is more damaging than a wrong call. As a new manager, you won't always know the perfect move, and that is okay. What matters is forward motion. Make the best call you can with the info you have. If it doesn't work, then you adjust. Your team will respect decisiveness. If you start waiting for the perfect time, it'll keep the whole team stuck. So lead with confidence. I know stepping into a management role isn't easy, but now you've got some kind of playbook that took me years to learn. Start with these 15 tips and you're already ahead of the game. So what's the biggest challenge you're facing as a new manager? Drop it in the comments below, and if you found this video helpful, like, subscribe, and tap the bell icon for more leadership content. See you in the next one.